All right. Greetings. Oh, geez. Didn't realize that was so loud. I'll try and get some better, less buzz in the beginning of the show. Or not. There we go. All right. It's kind of, anyways, welcome to Black Bear News where everything is connected. How you doing? Good to see you. Sorry for my lateness. I was trying to juggle many things. Many things are being juggled. Many plates are being spun. Oh my god, I'm going to kill somebody if I have to listen to this buzz anymore. Hey. Or myself. I won't kill myself. How you doing? Good to see you. Greetings. Welcome. Mic check. Am I really muted? Hold on. Ha. I mean, I should actually have volume on my. It says that I have volume. No, guys, my sound is a tad low. What is going on? Holy shit! Poppy Davis says audio good. Okay, so it's always good to confirm whether something's really happening or not. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. All right. There we go. God dang it. Thanks, Obsolete Optics, for the Super Chat Audio Equipment Fund. Always necessary, in need of some audio equipment, and maybe I'll go to the store today and buy a new cord. I don't know. Everybody says they can hear me. Somebody says the sound is a little low. I don't know why. It's a general volume that I'm always at. Oh, okay. Let's talk about some things. It's Friday, and we're kind of hanging out. We're even more relaxed than we usually are. And people here already. Yes. I don't know. This story is stupid. On some levels, I feel like the story is really dumb. It's kind of like, really, there's a weather balloon from China just floating over. And, this is one of those, well, we don't know what it is. Apparently it's over Montana where there are nuclear silos. Is this I'm wondering if this is a reason to create some tension. Extra Bullet says if they start World War III over a effing balloon, I swear to Jeebus. Yeah, this. What I heard was just now before I started the show was that China confirmed it was their balloon. I'm kind of baffled at how the most yoked up, defense heavy, military, high tech, nation. God dang it. The most high tech, military force that has ever been on the planet Earth. Are surprised, taken by surprise from a weather balloon just floats over and they don't see it, they don't notice it. They're like, "What's this?" I'm sorry, guys. It's a DNC balloon. I'm sorry, but this story is stupid. This story is dumb. Right? This is kind of like, oh yeah, they totally floated a weather balloon over the United States and nobody noticed it was coming into our airspace or what it was or where, those sneaky weather balloons, right? I mean, maybe, but I'm sorry. I think we have a thing called NORAD. We have a thing called, we're constantly tracking the skies with radar and everything. Right? This is kind of like, the sound is crackling. Balloon crackle? All right, hold on. Oh, now we've got it. Hold on one second. I gotta get to it. All right, trying to get the sound right. Yes. Okay. All right, here we go. What is going on? I don't know. Sometimes StreamYard gets real. Sometimes StreamYard gets real weird. All right, can you hear me? Is everything okay? Jesus Christ. Okay. Sometimes StreamYard acts up too. Anyways, I don't believe this story. I actually don't believe this story on any level. It sounds ridiculous. Is it a reason, is it a reason to ramp up tensions with China? Maybe. They said that, Well, let's try and look at the story, I guess. It's just ridiculous on some levels or many levels. If you actually think it through, like yeah. It's the same thing as thinking that somebody could hijack hijack at some point, a couple of planes in the U.S. and fly around for a long time, and they would be like, "Oh, how did that happen?" Like, sure that happened. Sure, they just slipped on by us. Big China spy balloon. Big China. Jesus Christ. Hold on one second, guys. I'm sorry. Whoops. All right, can you hear me now? Ha! Is that better? I don't know. Maybe they're mad at me for saying I don't believe this nonsense. I don't believe this nonsense for a second. China. Kameshwari says, think it through. How does that work? Don't we need to have critical thinking to do that? Holy crikeys, man. I can't even take this. We've spent the entire first 20 minutes or 15 minutes of the show playing around. Dang. Basil Peterson, thanks for the super chat. He says, I spit today, and it froze before it hit the ground. Now, that's cold. Oh, geez. Yeah. Again, how does a balloon get over Montana, over the nuclear sites, and just hang out there? And yeah, I believe it. China claims the balloon is a weather research airship that had blown off course. The U.S. has described it as a surveillance vehicle, but we can't shoot it down, guys. We can't shoot it down. Now it's moved eastward and was over the central United States. And the U.S. rejected China's claim that it was not being used for surveillance. So why wouldn't you just get rid of it? I mean, how hard would it really be to get rid of a balloon? Oh, sorry, Bozeman. Yeah, that's a Z. Thanks, man. I'll fix that after the show. Denver says because China and America work together. They said there was no consideration of shooting it down. Military had ruled that option out, officials said, due to potential risks to people on the ground. Why would you shoot? How hard would it be to get? You know what I mean? You have to like shoot it down with what? What are you going to shoot a balloon down with? Shoot a balloon down like you think they could just fly? How about if you just fly another plane past the balloon really fast? Um, you know, and get it all riled up, get it to go in another direction, just create some turbulence for the balloon and get it to blow away. I don't know. Um, I mean, there's got to be a somewhat harmless way to decommission a balloon, right? You got something that'll shoot like something sharp at it. I don't know. It just is. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous story all the way around. I can't take it. Um, Basil says, I think they have plenty of satellites that work better. Exactly. Basil says, shoot it down with a blowgun. I mean, you can't. We can't shoot it down because um, that could hurt people. We might hurt somebody if we shoot a balloon down. These are you know what I mean? This is the U.S. military, the best in the, you know what I mean? Just thinking about this problem. What if we shot it down? It might hurt people. If we shoot down this balloon with what? With a rocket? With a bomb? With like a missile? This is dumb. This is dumb. This is a dumb story. But I mean, plenty of people, I guess, are like, "Whoa," or something. Maybe I'm kind of like, "Whoa." They're actually talking. They're actually putting this out there as if it was real. Supposedly, it's at an altitude of 60,000 feet, was maneuverable, and had changed course. He said it currently was posing no threat. There was only one balloon being tracked. And Blinken canceled a trip to China. I don't know. Two 2024 re-election challengers, former President Donald Trump and Nikki Haley, the former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador, said the U.S. should immediately shoot down the balloon. I mean, maybe they should. I don't know. They should shoot it down. It's a huge balloon. It's the size of buses, is it? I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's big or not. How hard is it to? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it would be really that difficult. I'm sure there are like machine gun, uh, turrets on a plane, on an older plane. You could just give it a couple rounds and just rip it up. I don't know. Are they worried that those bullets will reach somebody on the ground? I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to get rid of this balloon without. I don't know. Scott Andrews says they should have shot it down when it was over rural Montana. Extra Bullet says, can you shoot a balloon 12 miles in the air with just a rifle? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I just think there's got to be. And I'm sure that they have, if it's surveilling the U.S., I'm sure they have the equipment to jam it. To jam the balloon. They really don't like me today, do they? StreamYard or somebody doesn't really like what I'm talking about today, I guess. There's a label on the balloon that says "Made in China." Okay. The balloon says, "Hi, I'm a Chinese weather balloon. Don't shoot me down. I'm just monitoring the weather and stuff." Okay. Yeah, Denver Attaway says USA and China both invest heavily on geospatial intel. They know where everything is, particularly in the air. This is a surprise unlikely. Yeah, it's absolutely ludicrous. This is even a concern, right? Is even like a thing that, oh my gosh, what will we do about this balloon? But I think it is just a good reason for we've been hearing over the last uh it's a there you go. How high can a drone go? Right? We have drones. We could send a drone up to just smash the balloon, right? We have drone planes. Even I mean, you could just drive through the balloon, right, or something. I don't know. Mash it. Uh, it is an opportunity to claim that China invaded American airspace. That's exactly what it is, and I'm sure that's how they want to try and spin it. But I hope that most Americans understand that this is a ridiculous story. This is a made up thing. This isn't even a thing that should be used to manufacture consent for hostilities towards China or something. It's so dumb. Yes. Anyways, the Chinese side regrets the unintended entry of the airship into U.S. airspace due to force majeure, citing a legal term used to refer to events beyond one's control. Yeah. Anyways. Antony Blinken had been prepared as late as Thursday to travel to Beijing this weekend, but the administration had begun to reconsider the trip following the discovery of the balloon. What? What's this? Oh my gosh. Sorry, you guys can't even see what I'm reading. Blinken's long anticipated meetings with senior Chinese officials had been seen in both countries as a way to find some areas of common ground at a time of major disagreements over Taiwan, human rights, China's claim in the South China Sea, and North Korea, Russia's war in Ukraine, trade policy, climate change, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All righty, guys. Got to look out for those rogue weather balloons. It's just a balloon. It's just a balloon. But but Andy Blinken canceled a whole trip because of a balloon. So there's that. Drake Guy says CIA has their balloons that say made in China with labels printed in Russia. Basil says this is worse than Pearl Harbor and TikTok. Blink, 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 blink and blinks. Right. Flying through a balloon can be a bad idea. During World War II, the Germans lost some planes flying low for bombing runs over England to defensively tethered barrage balloons. Oh, Wendy DeLeese, thanks for the information. How about a wing? Can you wing it? Like if you send a drone up, can you just have the drone just like wing through the balloon? I don't know. I wonder. Ooh. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. We're kind of hanging out, guys. William says high performance, high altitude helicopter retrieval system. Okay, hold on. I'll take this call from. Hold on. William, how you doing? Hold on. Let me get you in there. Okay. What's up, Will?
Yeah, well, you you saw it. I was just trying to direct you to the link. That's all. We could talk later. There it is. There's the system that's used with a helicopter. If you got to go 60,000 feet, use a special. There are specific copters that can go that high, and they have a hook system. They have ways of retrieving balloons and
Yeah, I see it.
things
There's
like
a
that.
helicopter with a balloon on it, right?
Yeah,
Mid-air
yeah.
retrieval. Here's a. Oh shoot. I'll show it to the. I'll show it to the folks. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the link. That's cool.
Yeah, to go that high, 60,000 feet, there's only so many helicopters that can do that, but they could rig that copter with a retrieval system if they wanted.
Okay.
You know, if they want to get that, they know how to get it.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
not-
It's. I mean, that's part of the silliness of the story,
right.
right? Is like, oh, the U.S. military just doesn't, can't figure out how to get the balloon. It's just like dumb. What? We're just, totally perplexed.
Hey, they're trying to put that up there. They're working for us. They're monitoring something for us. We just employed them to put the balloon up. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Right.
Whatever.
Well, and there are stories of like, the Chinese running like the police stations, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard
Chinese
that.
extra, whatever. Right, like secret police stations inside of the U.S. I mean, they're doing all kinds, all kinds of things.
So they say, like they would be secret, like we wouldn't know.
Right.
We couldn't monitor them anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like the FBI isn't all over that, right? Or all up in that is what I meant to
Hey,
say.
it's Operation Underworld. We're all working together. Are you kidding? Everything else is a
There's
scam.
secret Chinese police stations, and the FBI is probably monitoring them. You know what I mean? Sure, we know they're there.
It's give him the old razzle dazzle dazzle.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so here's a helicopter hooking something in the sky there. So I don't know. I there's got to be a way. I'd say. I have to say there's got to be a way. I don't think there's, shooting it down is like really such a. Well, I don't know. What are we gonna do? But we'll see what they decide to do. Probably nothing. Probably this story will be gone next week. But all right. Thanks for that, William. Max says they say it could be spreading a virus everywhere it goes. All right, anyways, let's talk about something else, shall we? I mean, it's good for a laugh, a lark. Yeah, Osama says insane cold outbreak while Chinese weather balloon modification balloon is over U.S. must be a coincidence. All right, there's some other stories. Apparently, Congress voted to condemn socialism. Yeah, because I don't even know where to start with this one. Congress voted to condemn socialist. Like, this is a real thing. Bread and Circuses asked, then what does that mean that they are endorsing? Yeah, this is again another big piece of stupid because this is a really great use of time, for Congress to endorse, denounce socialism. But it also shows you. There's a lot of people who are like, who are really afraid of the communists and the socialists, right? There's a whole group of people who are like, we can't have this. Guys they're trying to take away your personal automobiles. They won't let you use the cheap, reliable fossil fuels. And they're telling you we're going to have to change our ways. And all the people that think that we're destroying the earth are in a cult, and they're all communists and they're socialists. Right? There's a whole bunch of those folks. Yes, they are setting up the groundwork to take away Social Security and Medicare, right? And Biden is going to let them, if the crystal ball is correct. The Democrats just might go, what could we do? Or there'll be a big fight about it, right? While Biden is in office, there'll be a big fight about it. And then whoever is elected next will, then they'll really get to hacking it away. Anyways, but this is the issue is not socialism. The issue is that I said something about this yesterday. And we'll let Robert Reich sum it up, which he did really well. Socialism is a scare word they've hurled at every advance that people have made. Socialism is what they called public power, Social Security, deposit insurance, and an independent labor organization. Socialism is their name for anything that helps the people. This is a quote from Harry Truman. And Harry Truman was a conservative, right? Back in the day, wasn't he? Harry Truman was conservative. But back in the day, socialism was very popular, right? Socialism was popular. When FDR was president, socialism was so popular that he won in a landslide 3 elections in a row. Because the people wanted these programs. They wanted the socialism. Socialism was a good thing. Socialism was a thing that helped people, right? Medicare for all is called socialism. And if you're worried about the government running your health care, well, what do you got now? You have no health care. And you got shitty health care, and you got really super expensive health care, and you got health care that'll drive people into bankruptcy. So, but you're worried about the government running your health care, and if you're worried about how the government is running your health care, well, then you regulate it correctly, right? You try to get politicians in there that are determined to regulate correctly, right? Or put constraints on the government or how the government is working, or it's called regulations. Regulations are actually good. They're not so bad, right? Sometimes it can be a little overarching, for sure. I don't think every regulation is a great regulation, or not every law is a just law. But some laws are actually implemented to help people, protect the environment. Those are good laws. You want to support those laws. So, but there's people that just think in these black and white, really like childish kindergarten terms. No, government bad. We got to deregulate. Yeah, well, you deregulated yourself out of Social Security and Medicare. Bing bong. Good job. You deregulated yourself out of things that actually help people, right? Like, there used to be less of a monopoly on media, right? There was only so much media that one company could own back in the day, and they got rid of that regulation deregulate. They deregulated you into, into your media, your mainstream mass media being monopolized to service those in power and to lie to you, propagandize you. So, good job, deregulators. Good job, governments. Good job, governments. Good work. So look, the you know I'm not necessarily saying that I think that we should have more government. I think we should have fair and just government, and that is what happens when you actually regulate what the government is doing. When you actually pass laws, right? When you actually have a 90% tax rate on the wealthy, and you can thank deregulation for getting rid of that kind of stuff and allowing this upward transfer of wealth. All the problems that people are complaining about are people that are like, the government bad, we need deregulation. All of those problems stem from that mindset, and these people are still all over the place going, we don't trust the government, don't vote for anybody, don't do anything, it's all bad. Even I love Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges is awesome. But even Chris Hedges is like, well, it's too late. Yeah, don't even try. It's been captured. It's over. We're done. We're just going to wait. Like, dude, I don't know. Denver said, when regulation is issued by captured quasi-legal bodies like the FDA, sure. We fake approved mRNA jabs. They're safer. But right. You're right. But those are, that's what I'm saying. Those regulations are not the good regulations. But there's nothing in place to control that, right? There's less because of this push, this libertarianism, overall, push for deregulation. You've removed the constraints. You slowly remove the constraints and allow, Citizens United should not exist. Right? That's actually a removal of constraints, an allowance of corporations to have way more power than they should have. So, what you need is not to just completely disown the idea that you have any agency in the government. The idea should be that, the government's gonna work for you, and you're gonna make sure it works for you, and you're gonna go kick and scream about it. So, even Chris Hedges is giving you like that's all. Just don't worry about it. Like what the fuck, Chris? He says voting doesn't work, but I think boycotts, activism, and voting, all the above, everything should be on the table. All of the above. When you tell people that they have no agency or they cannot have agency, or how about let's try and regulate the voting systems. Let's try and change the voting systems to be more fair if we think that they're unfair, or if they're being tampered with, or if they are, easily hackable. These are things that people can actually get out and try and push for. So, I don't know about that message. I really don't know about that message, I'm pointing out that message is the thing that has led us down this road. And so I just don't think that we need more of that message. I'm not sure that it's a good one. Robert Reich, I already read that. Let's read, there are some good comments in here. Socialism, Medicare, Social Security, roads, libraries, bridges, cops, schools, clean water, sewer systems, courts, bridges, bus systems, broadband, research, parks, national parks, clean beaches, shipping lanes, airports, airport safety. Exactly. And again, if you think the private sector is going to take care of you or do a better job, the example we have of the private sector running things is exactly what we have now, which is complete graft and theft. Complete corruption. That's how capitalism runs things, runs the show, is complete corruption, right? I don't get the people that are like, no, the free market's gonna shut the. We already had a world in which the free market ran everything, uncontrolled. We already lived through that, and then somebody tried to put some constraints on it, and things got a lot better for people. And somehow they did a really good job of brainwashing everybody that they don't want that. They're not supposed to have that. And now things are really bad, right? And wealth inequality is the worst that it's ever been. We are living in the new Gilded Age. Well, what happened? What happened to change the fact that we lived in a Gilded Age? It was called socialism. But keep on subscribing to the people that tell you that it's just the freedom lovers, everywhere. I love freedom. I'm not saying that freedom is bad. I'm just saying, like, there are some things that people can do together, right? Whether individually or through the government or through local organizations or through, right? There are ways that people can work together to make things better. And that, everything, rugged individualism is, not always what it's cracked up to be, right? Excuse me. Yes, Schultze, the propaganda campaign has been very effective, right? And this whole campaign was started by the people that didn't want the socialism, that were trying to push it back. And how did they do it? They didn't do it. They did it through, the usurpation of the control of the government, but they also did it through the brainwashing of the citizenry, through people like Rush Limbaugh and Ronald Reagan, and people still repeat this stuff over and over. People are still like, government by regulation, deregulations. People are still repeating this. People who are trying to tell you the truth, right? I'm trying to tell you the truth about everything. But the government bad. Okay. How about what do you do to make the government work properly? You got to put some constraints in. How do you do that? I don't. There's a whole process through which that happened, and it's already laid out in history for you. And you just have to go back and go, well, maybe we should do that again. It's called socialism. That's called socialism. And as has been repeated many, many times, we have socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. But the rugged individualism for the poor are, people willingly subscribe to that. And they're all saying, hey, everybody, don't vote. Don't do anything. Don't have any agency. Don't try to do anything. Can't change it. You know what you're going to get from that? More rugged individualism. So good day. Have fun with that. Have a good time with that. Yeah. And by the way, the Democrats are not socialists anymore. They are not for socialism. They are right-wingers who are posing as lefties because of, they're appealing to the cultural left, but they don't actually do anything for the regular average people, working class. They're not interested in helping you in that way. They just put on the face of diversity so that they can screw you over by being hyper militarized right wingers. But they do it with it's the rainbow flag on a warplane. Rainbow flag on an F-16. That's the Democrats. That is literally the Democrats for you. So Democrats are not lefty, so You're not. You're not a lefty. You're not a lefty if you're voting Democrat. I'm sorry to tell you that. I mean, a lot of people are. Nobody here, I think, watching the show, you all understand that already. But there was no left in America, right? Anyways, I'm trying to point this out to kind of counter a very popular talking point out there in the world that I think is not a very brilliant one. Stop letting people tell you have no agency. Stop it. Not just agency in your own lives, but agency to change things and change, how you are governed and the systems that we live in. Stop listening to people that tell you have no agency to change that. Because because you'll just believe it, and then things will get worse. And that's what's going to happen. What's been happening for the last 20, 30 years, things have gotten worse. Why? Because people have been doing exactly that. Anyways, and I can't even read these quotes because they're anyways, can't read the quotes because nobody's really saying anything very enlightening. Zen Ape says U.S. military is the biggest social program in history. That's why there's nothing left for any other programs. True that. But, absolutely nobody will propose to cut the military budget. The military budget will not be cut or will not be constrained or reined in or cut back because we refuse to believe that anybody can actually do anything like that. Anyways. William, how you doing? What's going on, man?
Well, I think a lot of people have tried, Kev. I mean, certainly Chris Hedges has been a mouthpiece. New York Times Pulitzer Prize winning journalist who got the boot for telling the truth about Iraq. We have a lot of journalists, including Julian and Snowden, a lot of whistleblowers who've been trying to bring the message, and a lot of people. I tell you what, I bought Obama's bullshit. I thought he was going to bring hope and change,
Right.
And I think a lot of people voted. In other words, they run for office, every one of them, on a populist message to bring change.
Oh yeah, and he ran as a progressive,
Sure he did, yeah. And even if you look at Trump's policies, a lot of them were progressive, his running platform, on a lot of levels,
sure.
bring jobs,
right.
But then they get in there, and I think Putin was quoted as saying he's met with 3 U.S. presidents. They all have great ideas till the men in black suits get a hold of them back home, and then they're told how it's going to be. And it was Putin actually said that. So who the men in the black suits are, we can easily surmise, you know what I mean? Right. Military-industrial congressional complex,
Well, there will be a point. I think that there's going to be a point at which people are going to be like, look, we're not. We know who the real traitors are. We know who the enemy is among us, right? We know, we know what these people are doing. We can see what you're doing, right? Like, there's going to be a point where, people are going to have to, get it together and come together and stop it, because it's going to be, as Whitney Webb has said, it's, soon it will be too late when you're under like constant surveillance and your access to money or food is so heavily controlled that any step out of line will result in you being, probably starving or not being able to, exist anywhere, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
well,
what they haven't. They haven't that in China. They're saying, well, that's that's communism or whatever. No, that's totalitarianism. Of course, we know the words are all messed up. They've redefined the meaning of communism a long time ago, so that people couldn't actually do communism, right? Because they didn't really want people doing communism. So they redefined the word, and now the word means, it means totalitarian, and that's not what it means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have Sheldon Wallen wrote a book that Chris Hedges talks a lot about, that we have inverted totalitarianism here, where it's actually the transnational corporations that run the government, obviously,
Right.
and churches. And so the question being, one has to ask, well, we've tried the electoral process. We see how that works out. Doesn't work out very well. Maybe local a little better, but on the national, it hasn't changed anything. We buy into their propaganda. We have a two-party system for a reason. In other words, they're the gatekeepers. They won't bring us a multi-party system that could function where we can actually have, an electoral process that can bring us change. Do you see what I mean? Because the two-party system is basically follow the money, right? Follow the money. The two-party system. Who's supporting the candidates? The lobbying lobbyists, and where do the candidates invest? There's just an investigation. 76 congressional men and women were shown to be doing illegal insider trading and all this stuff. And that's the tip of the iceberg, I'm sure. Right. So, what do you think? I mean, we talk about a lot of the issues. We know they're there. And if we were in charge, if only I had a hammer. Remember that song?
Yeah.
who sang that song? Peter, Paul, and Mary?
Yep.
If I had a hammer?
Yep.
I think, But what do? This is the thing. I mean, everything's captured. The courts, like George Carlin said, it owns America, everything. I don't have any answers, What do you think?
I think that we've been. I still don't believe that. I think that we can organize around getting, having another party on the bill, or having another party be viable, or I don't know what it is, but I mean, it involves actually putting some pressure on the powers that be on some level, right? You have to pressure them somehow, whether it be boycotts or protests or whatever it might be, or putting together another political party, or putting together some kind of grassroots campaign. Like, I think that there is power in numbers, right? And we people need to get together and figure out what it is we're going to do together, because we're becoming consistently more fractured and factionalized. And
well, if you look at, from what I understand, in certain countries in Europe, we don't hear much in our press. There's millions of people taken to the street, and
Yep.
I don't remember, where did I see that? Help me remember, Kev. Was that Italy? Where were they taken to the street?
France.
Millions. France, yep.
France, Italy. I mean, all over. They just have they have a different mentality when it comes to when they're when they see that the government is overstepping or doing something that they don't like. They're like, no, like, we see you, and we don't do that. We don't have that muscle anymore. And part of the reason why we don't have that muscle is because we have been thoroughly propagandized.
Right.
Into not, don't try, don't vote, less deregulation, libertarianism, blah, 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 just be comfortable, go out and shop. What I mean? Don't fight the man, don't fight the system. You see what happens to people that fight the system. Well, you got to get over that. We're going to have to get over that. We're going to have to get over that. We're going to have to get over that fear, right? Or the cowardice. Somebody's going to have to step up there, because that's just what happens, Like I was talking about the movie I was watching the other day, All Quiet on the Western Front. Well, that's, the way that battles used to happen, where that people just got out there and got in, you know what I mean? Somebody had to lead the charge, and a lot of people that lead the charge are the first to get mowed down. And I'm not, and don't do that. Don't do that in a stupid bankers war. Fighting another country, but you should definitely do that. You could do that. A wise way to do that, or a just, righteous way to do that would be against the oppressors that are oppressing you. You're gonna have to. Somebody's gonna have to lead the charge and get in there and might be the first one to get mowed down. That's just how it's gonna happen. I mean, it has to happen. So, and the people of Europe are way more willing to do that than we are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're giving us the crumbs. You've got just enough crumbs where to slow down the eviction process substantially, from what I understand. And they've, increased the EBT, for people in this food stamp allotment. So they're keeping the poorest sort of pacified with crumbs. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
And that's one method. And then the middle class they just completely obliterated during the CARES Act and small businesses. That was just controlled demolition.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, sure.
And now we have this completely bifurcated system, where basically if you got money in the top 10% or so and you invest in the stock market, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not involved with Wall Street on some level,
right, then
you're Main Street and you're in deep shit. And that's the way they want to have it. I mean, that's the control mechanism, and they get us to turn on one another. Yeah. Obviously, keep us busy fighting one another while they continue to siphon the resources. BlackRock snapping up real estate to rent back to people at, you know what I mean? But the same old boom bust cycle, and then snap things up at pennies on the dollar, and then rent back and profiteer and bail themselves out. We got some evil people in charge, and they just keep recycling their, call it, the big tech boom bust, and then you have the housing boom bust. Now you got the CARES Act, this pandemic, which it was, and more coming out, that we can see that. And get ready for a severe epidemic, enterovirus respiratory syndrome. It's all tabletopped out up till 2025. John Hopkins Medical Center, the Gates, Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation, the WHO, that's actually on the books.
Right.
We expect that one to come down. And of course, they've got severe epidemic. Use two big scary words to start it, right, Kev? Yeah. Oh, we're going to get them this time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's all a huge freaking psych operation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it controls the masses. And for people like you who tell the truth in your audience, we break through, we see. You know what I mean? We appreciate that. I don't know personally. I tried the courts. I litigated pro se. By the way, if you're within 125% of the poverty level, you can file lawsuits, no charge, and get them served and litigate and subpoena people. You can do all that.
Yeah.
And I did. And you know what they did? They criminalized me. They arrested me 4 times in 4 years.
Oh,
for allegedly trespassing, breach of peace, harassment, you name it.
Right. Sure.
Even in the courthouse, filling out subpoena requests, minding my own business for a scheduled 3rd motion to open hearing, pursuing fraud on the court. I was going after a corrupt judge, abuse of judicial discretion. So then I'm filling out, I never had a subpoena request denied, Kev. And I'm sitting there filling it out, and the stadium's come in. What are you doing in here? I said, we got a 3rd hearing coming up in 2 weeks. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm filling out my subpoena request. You're not supposed to be in there. I said, says who? Did you get this piece of paper? No. Who's supposed to bring it? Chief Marshal. Well, he didn't drop it, so you can't arrest me. I haven't seen it. By the way, I'm not doing anything illegal. What do you want from me? They arrested me, and I got prosecuted. And
wow.
You know what they do now, Kev? They're doing this. Check it out. Children's Health Defense Fund, Bob Kennedy, their Canadian group, Dr. Bregan, weaponizing psychiatry. Then they force you to go to a comp eval if you don't take a plea bargain. This is exactly what they do. This is it. And then you're found delusional, bipolar with grandiosity complex, forced into jail diversion programs. They did to me in 2 illegal prosecutions. The 3rd one, they put me in a psych ward for 2 months.
Jesus.
State-run, full max lockdown to allegedly restore me to competency for trial, which they never had.
Yeah.
This is true shit.
Yeah.
So I'll put in the article, Dr. Bregan. They're doing to doctors in Canada. They're
Yeah.
threatening doctors all over the world with this.
By the way, did you see that they dropped the case against Dr. Peter McCullough?
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. Hey, William, I'm going to let you go,
Yeah.
man. I got to take another call.
Oh, yeah, I
got
see.
Joseph.
Joseph. Amen. All right, thank you.
Thank you, William. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Joseph, how you doing? But hold on one second. I want to actually, Joseph, read a little bit of this article. I did want to take your call, but this is crazy. What's crazy about this vote to denounce socialism is that the majority of Democrats voted with the Republicans for the resolution. So they were like, no. So they actually just told you who they are. The Democrats just told you who they are. They're not for the people, right? They're against socialism. And I want to read this part. The measure, which runs 3 pages, says socialist ideology necessitates a concentration of power that has time and time again collapsed into communist regimes. I don't know. Is that what's happening in Europe? Right? Have all the countries in Europe collapsed into communist regimes? No, they're all socialist, very extremely socialist countries. So that's actually not true. It's a lie. It argues that many of the greatest crimes in history were committed by socialist ideologues. Oh, they're socialists. Mentioning Vladimir Lenin, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Fidel Castro. These are these are socialists. Pol Pot. These are straight up socialist guys. This is a straight up. This is gaslighting on a high level, and this is a lie. This is a lie. Congress denounces socialism in all its forms and opposes the implementation of socialist policies in the United States of America. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Anyways, Joseph, how you doing?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm all right.
First up, before I forget, William, thanks. I'm not running away to Canada then.
Yeah. No, you can't do that no more.
No, guess not. And if William's crazy, I'm Fruit Loops. So,
join the club.
Right? All these systems, and I'm not rebutting anything you said about voting or anything like that. I don't want you to take it that way. Well, you can.
Yeah, it's fine. Give it to me.
And I don't remember who, because I get mixed up on all who wrote which, but I think even Marx addressed the corruption that's indelible to the system of hierarchy, no matter what you do.
Sure.
Right. And that should be included in all of these conversations. But my argument is this: whether you vote or not, you realize you can't have bricks to make the prisons without the poor people.
Right.
And you can't have the steel to make the ships or the buildings or the guns or the bombs without the poor people.
Right.
It's always the same, no matter how far back in time you go.
Right.
And as long as the poor people keep insisting on the hierarchy and reinforcing that system, they're going to be the ones making the bricks that make the prisons that they get sent to, if that system finds them to be less than whatever.
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. So my solution, quote unquote, is find a way where we all can group together and support each other, whether that each other means some of us are working or not. In other words, it's the most of our benefit if the people making the bricks that make the prisons don't go to work every day, if ever at all.
Right.
And if we can find something better for them to do, great. If not, fucking feed their families. Sorry, on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that sound ludicrous?
No. No.
How to do that?
Yeah, I mean it's you have to, I mean we have to find a way to really like get, to do, and there are people out there doing these things, right? And people that are feeding people and people that are trying to unionize and people that are trying to, you um, to help each other, right? And they've already in many ways, but trying to make any of that kind of stuff illegal, right? Or you can't.
That's what it. Yeah, yeah. It's got to be like an underground caterpillar thing. It doesn't hurt any of the system. If the system doesn't feel threatened by it up front, it'll ignore it. Typically,
Right.
if you make statements about it, and which I'm not saying I believe you shouldn't make statements about it, because there's equal arguments to be made in a joined effort against the system in an upfront, calm way. And I think you got to do all of that at the same time. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And
I
then
agree.
the system just hollows out from itself.
Yes. No, I think all I think all of those things need to happen. I think I think you need to subvert the system, and you also have to insist that the system changes. Because you can actually you can make a dent. You can make some changes. You can really get out there and mess things up, and you can really do that. There's, look at what's happening now with COVID and the vaccines, right? There are a lot of people backpedaling right now, and they're backpedaling
Yeah.
because they've been, because everybody can see them, right? Like we see what you are doing. We see what you're doing. We can see this now.
It does not look like they're going to get away with it, does it?
No, and so that's what I'm saying is like
And yet, I have family that will not talk to me over that.
that's right. Yeah, that's horrific.
I mean, they still are believers.
They're still
is what I'm saying.
super in a trance, right? They're still
Super, right?
Yeah.
Right. Hardcore.
Yeah.
So hard to say, but I agree with everything you said, and then I disagree at the same time with half of it.
That's
Half the
okay.
time.
You don't
And I
have
do the same thing with myself.
I'm not saying that when I say the things I'm saying them from a conviction
I know.
from
I
from
hear
myself,
you.
and I'm not actually I'm not saying like I am I am right about everything that I'm saying. I'm just pointing out stuff. I'm
Totally,
pointing out
that's
stuff that I
exactly-
think is pretty obvious, that I think is very simple and obvious, right? And
Yeah.
if you take away the energy, if you tell people that you can't change this thing, and you take away all their agency to change it, well, then that thing will inevitably just get worse. That thing is not going to get better all on its own, right? A psychopath is not going to cure themselves. A psychopath, real true psychopath, probably can't be cured, but they won't stop what they're doing. It's like a bully, right? It's like a bully. What's underneath? Scratch a bully and you find a coward, and that's what
Right.
they are. They're all cowards,
They won't face
doing
their
bully
own
stuff.
darkness coming
And so
out,
when
yeah.
you stand up to a bully, what generally happens is they generally crumble pretty quickly. So you have to but if you tell people, well, you're never going to change the bully. The bully's just a bully, and you just stay away from them. Just don't ever talk to them. Just don't, then the bully's just going to keep on bullying. The bully's not going to change until somebody goes, F you, Jack. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And then, that's when the bully goes, I guess, nothing, I guess, right? You got to stand up to him. And it was the people. It was the people that refused, the mandates, who pushed back on, who were like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm going to quit my job. No, I'm not going to do this." It was those people that took some heat. That's not an easy thing to do, to stand on principle. So those
No,
people
it
that took some heat, that actually probably changed some minds. Oh shoot, all these people are quitting. Oh, we don't
Well,
have
that's a
enough
good
medical staff.
example.
We don't have enough pilots. We don't have enough people at the store to run the store because of these mandates. Oh, this is bad. This is bad for business. Oh, we can't do anything. Those people had to stand up for what they thought was the right thing.
And I think that's an opportunity to put into play what we were just talking about, where the community, both small and writ large, groups behind those people and puts them to work. I mean, not like a you go work here thing. I mean, engage with them, feed them, take care of them, while they're working out how they can work out something different to benefit those that are taking care of them,
Yeah.
and not go back to what they just came from.
Sure.
And that's kind of deflating the whole uber large system. I don't see another way. It's going to happen on its own anyway. It's just
Right.
what rate you want it to happen at, you know?
Right. Well, I guess. Well, and it's also better to, if things are gonna get bad or go downhill or whatever, then it's probably better for people to already be engaged and living in a different way, right?
There
Already
you go.
getting their skills together and already.
Crash landing never a smooth thing.
Right. So if you're just like, well, things are going to go bad, and I guess when it happens, it happens. Well, you're going to feel the full brunt of that thing when it happens. But if you're already steering yourself in a different way, like, oh, I'm gonna grow my own food. I'm gonna try to be, live with less, whatever, right? Get off the consumption grid. If I'm gonna, live autonomously and have, build community with other people, right? And build out other structures and ways to survive. Like those people are going to be the ones that get through that way
To
better.
a point,
Yeah.
yes. And
To a
then
point.
the more they work together with others around them in the same ways, again, things are going to get worse, as everybody here knows, with climate and everything. And it's already being seen that the world, what we're seeing is an echo of what they look at from the top, obviously. And to them, you have to have certain things, and it's all about the diesel and the water. If you look at the regions that come into question, they're after that really good diesel crude, and they're after sources of water. Wherever they go, no matter what they dig for minerals, they still need the water to get at it too, and they need the diesel to get at it. And our entire global military chain just glaringly shows that.
Yeah.
And when I hear the arguments and the pointing for the shut oil down, shut this down, it's not really addressing what you just said. It's only addressing one leg of the octopus and calling it the bad doer. And
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
legs
yeah.
are on the same octopus.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think that's a ridiculous kind of, whatever you want to call it, slogan. Just stop
It's
oil is
terrible.
a stupid slogan.
Yeah. It is really bad, and I love their heart. and all,
Yeah, the heart. I
but
mean, yeah, their intentions I think are okay, but that's just stop oil. Okay, so you're just going to stop everything that keeps 8 billion people alive. All right, sounds good. So
It-
just
it's
stop
like
it.
asking for riots and nuclear war, in effect.
Right.
And it's nasty, and you gotta
Right.
I don't the separatizing talk and finger blaming is just really only a benefit to the very, very top echelon, if even that. In the end, it's not.
Right.
The short term, for control's sake, it is. It
Right.
doesn't help the cause doing that. I
Right.
don't know how to talk to them about it though.
Right. Well, and I think stupid says Chinese spy balloon just flew over my house. I'm scared. That's funny. I know, but I think also, I'm being very harsh on the people that are spreading the my government message, and you can't fix the government and deregulate. I'm being very harsh when I'm speaking to those folks, but I'm like, you got we got to build something together, and like if we all feel like we're together in this, we're gonna, there's no anarchy, and there's going to be no structure that has no leaders. I'm sorry, there just isn't. Nothing ever works that way. Nothing in human history has ever really worked that way. There's always
Certainly not from where we are.
there was always a hierarchy. So listen, you're going to have to figure out how to make the hierarchy, responsible for their actions, right? That's
I agree.
You're going to have
I don't
that's the only
disagree at
way.
all.
So, somebody's going to be, that's just how humans naturally organize themselves.
There's 8 billion of them.
Somebody's a leader, and somebody, is like, oh, it looks like a good idea, leader. Yeah, I'm following you. Go for it. Like that's just how it is. So just, dispel yourself of that notion. These,
Right.
people who live in super structured hierarchical society with lots of conveniences talking about anarchism. Okay. Just I'm all for I don't know. I just think we're going to have to do it together and do it better, right? Like
what was Monty Python, a narco-socialistic shoot, I'm sorry, I can't do the quote.
I know it's a long
what
title.
scene I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Down in the mud.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
good
right.
talking to you. Thank you for the show again.
All right, man. Thanks. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the show here. We're just discussing all the kinds of things, and anarcho-syndicalist commune. Okay. I mean, I just have never really seen even more primitive folks have people that are kind of in charge, or kind of like the wise people, even if you want to go that basic, like, there's some people that are elders and they're wise, and we'll call this guy the group, whatever, So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. I'm going to see you all tomorrow again, one more time again, at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks so much. To the tippers, I did not get any coffees yet as of today, but you all know the deal. Coffees are cool. You can also have a membership and give me a coffee every month if you want to. All right. Thanks, guys. Peace out.